I'm so happy to be here today with Kristin to share her story of transitioning out of the classroom and to a brand new career. Hey, Kristin, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to kind of share my story.
So let's get started. So first off, what are you doing right now in your brand new career?
In my new career, I'm working for a nursing college, and I'm working as an instructional technology specialist. So I do a lot with their learning management systems, kind of helping faculty set up their courses online, doing course standardization, any curriculum changes. So yeah, just kind of working on that back end of their courses with their learning management system.
Sounds fantastic.
It is.
Do you like it?
I love it. It's really actually very fun, and the people I work with are great.
So what is really amazing about your life now and about your job now?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. I love having autonomy. I think that's one of the biggest changes because, with teaching, it was always so hard to find a substitute, and there was always so much planning just to even take a couple of hours off. And my daughter actually next week has a doctor's appointment. It'll be about 3 hours. And I was able to just talk to my supervisor and be like, hey, my daughter has this thing going on. She's like, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And so it was such a big change from, okay, well, make sure you have a sub, make sure you have your lesson plans, make sure you let your other team members know in case something goes wrong. Let's talk to this student so it was that's been really nice, just the autonomy and flexibility.
That is so cool. You're working from home, right?
I am working from home, and since it is a technology job, they set me up with everything I need, which was also really nice. I have dual monitors, a laptop, docking station, webcam, just everything I needed. I haven't had to buy a single supply or material that I need to be successful, and that's been really cool too.
Yeah, big transition from where you were in teaching when a lot of personal out-of-pocket funds towards setting up your classroom and supplies for students.
Mm-hmm, very much so. That it adds up. I was probably spending maybe $100 a month just on supplies for students. It was crazy. And, I haven't had to do that, and I won't have to do that. So that's really nice.
What was the journey like? The decision to leave the classroom maybe, and then what was the journey like to get to this point?
Mm-hmm. So I resigned at the end of last school year. It had just been a really rough few years, as any teacher, going through it or knows. These last few years have been really hard with COVID and everything. I had been teaching online for a couple of years and really, really liked that. And that's how I decided to kind of move into something more educational technology focused. So I left at the end of last school year, like I said. I got a graduate certificate in web design and development. I also became Google certified as a UX designer. And that was all that took until about the beginning of December. And I started applying for a few jobs, and, it was December and I just wasn't really getting anywhere. And then I started working with you in January, and by February, all these interviews started rolling in, and just, it was such a huge difference in the responses that I got. And by mid-March, I had 4 job offers in just completely 4 different fields. There's this one with higher education technology. There was one that was more like social services oriented, and just, one was with a bank. So it was just really cool that I had all these options from all these different places.
Yeah, it was great. One was with a tutoring company.
Yeah.
One was sales in a tutoring company. Yeah, it was amazing to be in a position to choose, right, from 4 completely and totally different jobs.
Right. And that's certainly not something I ever would have thought would have happened when I first started applying. And, I kept getting all this feedback of I seemed really confident, I seemed really well spoken. And before we started working together, that was something that I don't think anybody would have described me as. So just the change
It's
is
so much fun in our sessions. We did such a good time in our sessions.
we did.
And you even said at the job that you're working at now that your final interview was so fast, was 25 minutes, and they called you back an hour later. And what was their feedback?
Again, so like you said, it was so fast, it was 25 minutes. And afterwards I was like, oh no, it was only 25 minutes. Is that good or bad? I don't know. But like you said, they called back an hour later and said, that was our fastest team interview. And we kind of talked and we're like, yeah, that's a good thing. They kind of knew after that pretty immediately that I was the candidate they wanted to go with. And that was always, that was really good to hear.
Must be fantastic.
It was great.
How has your whole life changed?
Gosh, it really is like night and day. Sometimes I kind of catch myself being like, I can't believe this is my life now. It's wonderful. I just have flexibility. The stress level is so much lower. I work from home, so I'm not having to run to school, stay after school late, show up early. It really is just, I have such a better work-life balance now.
So, and that must translate to, I mean, you mentioned your daughter, that must translate to you as a mom, like, every part of who you are.
Yeah, my kids have even commented they're so much happier that I can work from home now. I think one day early on, my son was sick. He's older and could take care of himself. But, it was just nice to be able to be here in case he did need something. That was just really reassuring as a mom.
Of course. Wow. I am so happy for you. And I'm so glad and I feel like you definitely made the right choice out of those 4 options that you had. But I'm so happy that you had 4 options.
Yeah.
Right? So much for your confidence and your self-esteem and to realize how valuable you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then to be able to negotiate salaries because you had so many offers.
That was really, really nice to be able to negotiate. Like, well, I have this other offer, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that was really, I liked that. And like you said, just from being 4 completely different companies and jobs, I guess I feel like as a teacher, I was going to be kind of just one direction. There's only one thing I could do. I was a teacher, I teach. That's all I do. But then I guess you really kind of helped me look outside the box of teaching and see that there were so many other things I can do. And you really helped me. Some of the feedback I got on my resume was that I quantified everything. And I think that was just so helpful because I had at least 2 recruiters, even one with a job I ended up not getting. They took the time to call me back and say, we really, we went with another candidate that had like a different degree, but just your resume really stood out. And I think that was just tremendously helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. So what is your advice for anybody who is in that transitioning stage or looking to leave the classroom?
I guess my advice would be to start looking at what you want to do and narrow it down. I know when I first started looking, I was just applying everywhere, not targeting my resume, just had this one resume and I sent it to everybody and just kind of hoped for the best.
Pray and pray.
Yes, exactly. I think one week I sent close to 50 resumes and
oh my goodness, wait,
never heard anything. So it was just the same resume. Just really taking the time to target what you want and target each resume to each job. I think I applied for, starting in January, I applied for maybe 10 jobs a week. And I had so much more success just because they were very targeted resumes.
So they were still different positions. They were all even the offers were different positions, but they were all targeted.
Every single one. And, it sounds like it would be a lot of work, but once you get the hang of it, you're like, okay, I'm looking for these keywords. This is what this job it really entails. This is what the company's looking for. Take some time to target your resume, write a really good cover letter. Just be really focused about what you want and project that to where you're applying.
Yeah, definitely good advice. Yeah, most of my clients say that once they learn how to target the resume and really understand it, it's actually a lot faster than they thought it was going to be.
Yes, it was at first. I think I got through maybe 3 resumes the first week because I was just like, I don't know what to do. But then, we worked together and you were like, okay, do this, do this, do this. And it just became second nature. And then I started getting those jobs, just really rapid fire job offers.
I know, all those job offers. So, what is the most valuable thing that I provided for you?
Um, Gosh, I mean, there's so much. It's kind of hard to choose.
Okay, so we could take a few.
Yeah.
All right, we could take a couple.
No. Again, that resume targeting, I would have wasted so much time if I had not worked with you. And I'm sure I'd probably still be looking for a job. Like the target your resume was probably the big number one like take that I had from working with you. Also, I think you were always there. If I had a question about anything, I could text you and you'd get back to me very, very quickly. And I'm an overthinker and I could get
I
anxious.
hear that a lot from teachers.
I don't believe that. No, so, and you were always so responsive and you could talk me down if you could sense I was starting to get anxious about stuff. The imposter syndrome. I think that's something a lot of teachers experience. And you were like, no, you can do this. Like, you absolutely can do this because you have X, Y, and Z, and you know how to do this, that, and the other. You can do this. And it just was so helpful with feeling like I was, like I said, an imposter. It was tremendously helpful.
Awesome. I am so happy for you. I mean, as all those jobs kept coming in, like, what could be better than that, right? I mean, not one, not two, four to choose from. And we were talking them through which one would be the best,
Yeah.
right out, right schedules and hours and salary and advancement requirements. And I definitely feel like you made the right decision.
Absolutely. And just the negotiation part, you kind of helped me there with this job. And that was something I was wildly uncomfortable with. So just having you kind of talk me through that was really helpful.
Well, I am so glad. And I am so happy that you are where you are. And I wish you continued success in your career and in life. Thank you so much for sharing your story with everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope it helps.
Oh, I know it's going to help people. And if you want to see more great stories from other amazing women who have transitioned out of teaching, watch this video next. Bye-bye.